Okay. In the previous class, we were discussing about the some of the physical parameters, chemical parameters, and biological parameters. So in that, um, we have discussed that some of the physical parameters, uh, that is color, odor, the turbidity, and some of the solids. Okay, and the pH. So they are all comes under the physical characteristics. So that they have listed in this IS code. Always we are always we have to uh, see whenever we are discussing some of the water quality parameters. Always we have to discuss or always you have to compare with the standards. Why? What is the reason behind to compare with the standards? Say for example, yesterday we were discussing about the color. So how much should be the maximum limit for the color? So if I want to see that, I have to see this. Okay. So this is, you can see in the first column, that is the serial number. In the second column, the parameters, and the third column you can see the what will be the acceptable limit. And one more they have listed, that is a permissible limit. So what is the difference between the acceptable limit and the permissible limit? So uh, acceptable means up to 5 it is acceptable, but up to 15, up to 15 it can be considered. Up to 15 it can be considered. You can see the units also here, Hazen's units. Okay, so means you can say 15 is the maximum. See, we will restrict up to 5, but it can be considered up to 15. Okay, we'll restrict some of the things like, okay, color, if it is 5, then no problem, it can be considered up to 15. Okay, then how exactly it can be measured? Okay, the method of test, what we are measuring. So each of these all water quality parameters, we have different um, methods are there. That is, the main code is IS 3025. Remember, whichever the code um, you consider it, it will be IS 3025 series. In IS 3025 series, you have part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, up to part 50 you have. Okay, so there for each part it is the color, each part it is odor, each part it is taste, how exactly it will be determined, which equipment we will use it. So that all the things we will discuss in the um, in that code IS 3025. Okay, so why I am showing this means how exactly all these water quality parameters are listed in this IS code. Okay, so this is very important. Next, come to the pH value. You can see that 6.5 to 8.5. Okay, 6.5 to 8.5 they have given, that is the requirement, acceptable limit, but permissible limit he has not given. There is no relaxation, means 6.5 to 8.5 is the only limit. So above that, even if it comes 8.56, it is rejected. It is 8.51 rejected. Okay, 8.49 acceptable. Okay, even if it is below, if it is in the acidic range. Okay, if it is 6.4, again it is rejected. Okay, so means even if it is 6.5 to 8.5, then only it is acceptable. Then there is no permissible limit for this. But if you go the old IS code of this same, I'll supply that also. The IS 10500 1991. Okay, the code is IS 10500 1991. Even if you see that, even if you observe that, you can see the relaxation in pH value. You can see the relaxation in the pH value. That there they will say that, there they will say that uh, it is uh, up to 9 it is permissible. Okay, 6.8, 6.5 to 8.5 is there, up to what you can say, up to 9 it is, up to 9 it is permissible in 1991 code. That also I'll supply, will come to know. So some in they when they revised it, when the code is revised it, they said that okay, then no relaxation should be given. No relaxation should be given. Again, the test, how exactly it will be calculated. Then you have turbidity that we will discuss. Then total dissolved solids. In the first classifications, I said that um, we are going to classify total suspended solids, total colloidal solids, and total dissolved solids. Okay, so this is one part in that, but you cannot find any other than these solids. Okay, so that we'll discuss later. But at present, what you can do is that you just uh, um, see that um, which are the things are there in this IS code. Okay, and always whenever they are going to revise it, they are removing this permissible limit because many people are taking the advantage. See, uh, even a mineral water bottle you can take. Mineral water bottle, those who are processing it or those who are producing it, even they have to refer this code. If you are manufacturing um, the water bottles, so first you have to take the permission from the Karnataka State Pollution Control Board. Okay, that is there. Then you have to take the permission from the corporations. Okay, then it has to be tested by the if you are going with the food products. Okay, it has to be certified with FSSI, means Food Security and Standard Authority of India. For there also have to take the license, and again you have to get the permission of ISI mark will be there in that. Okay, then what is happening is that, so pH value, um, most of the water bottles in just 3 or 4 years back, or 6 years back, most of the pH of the bottles, it will coming under acidic range. It was around 6.4, sometimes some of the 8.7 or 8.8. That time, that way it was coming. So then they said that, so the requirement or the acceptable limit will say that it is 6.5 to 8.5, but you have given the permission that 9 up to 9 it is permissible. Okay, then the peoples will start taking the advantage of that. Then they have removed this. Okay, they have removed this. That's 9 up to 9. They have removed it. But whichever the standards, for example, I said that drinking water quality standards is 6.5 to 8.5. Then how they have decided that it is 6.5 to 8.5 only? Or what is the basis of that? Okay, so the whatever the codes or the values they have given, these are acceptable and it's good for the human beings. Okay, so as for the um, uh, ICMR, that is Indian Council for Medical Research, what they will do is that they will give these values. Okay, they will give this values. Okay, what they will do is that, for example, 6, if you drink the pH of 6, what is happening to your body? Okay, suppose if you drink the 10 pH value, what is going to happen to your body? So suppose if the odor, if it is um, um, disagreeable, means if any odor is coming or if any smell is coming, okay, so then how exactly it has to be decided? For example, turbidity, what should be the limit? So if it is more turbid, how exactly it is going to affect our human health? So based on that, we have to decide that, so what will be the limit? Suppose if it is not affecting, if that value is not affecting to our body, then it is fine and it is agreeable. Okay, based on that they are going to make it. So first, always any test or anything they are going to make it, always the they will conduct on the dosage or requirement, always they will conduct it on the mouse. Okay, um, they will conduct it on that first, because our human body nature and the mouse, it is almost similar. Even some of the corona testing and all those things, initially they started the dosing through to the mouse itself. Okay, so similarly, this is the table 2. It will represent the chemical characteristics. So then in chemical characteristics, which other things are there? So aluminum is there, ammonia is there, as a total. So you have three types of nitrogens are there. One is nitrate nitrogen, nitrite nitrogen, so then ammonical nitrogen. So NH3N, NO2N, and NO3N. Okay, these are the main three forms of the nitrogens which are available in, or which we can find it in the water itself. Okay, so ammonical nitrogen is also when it plays an important role. So we'll discuss how exactly all these things are been represented. Okay, so um, the boron is also very important. Then barium, then calcium, then chloramines, that is a chlorine, then chlorides as a Cl, then copper, fluoride, free residual chlorine. We'll discuss all these things in detail, but at present, we'll discuss that which are the things are there in the this code. Okay, these all water quality parameters are important, and all the things has to be maintained in a standard format. Okay, so then IR is very important. Of course, this iron is play a very important role um, in our body, because it is directly connected with the hemoglobin. It is directly connected with the hemoglobin. It is directly connected with the HB hemoglobin. So normally our human body if is in the range of 8 to 10. If it is the normal range, suppose if it is going to below 8, then normally the iron play a very important role. So immediately the doctors will recommend that they will go for the iron injections. So that will be in terms of 50 milligram per liter, or 70 milligram per liter, or 80 milligram per liter. Suppose if it is 8, if you want to increase it to 10, so then you can go ahead with the only with the food supplement they will give. Suppose if it is goes below 8, then directly they will go for the injections, because food supplement, what will happen is that uh, first it has to go to the intestine, the then there it has to digest, then it has to go to the blood. Okay, it will take its own time to increase the HB content. But if it is somewhere around 6 or 7, if it is there, if you want to increase it to 10, so then suddenly if you want to directly they will go with the iron injections. Okay, so then magnesium, then manganese. Magnesium is totally different from the manganese. Okay, that is Mg and Mn. Okay, then mineral oil. Okay, so that is also very important. So for example, cooking oil and all the things we will use it. Okay, that will come under mineral oils. Okay, so then nitrates, that is it has come, I already said that, NO3 N, it is also on the form of nitrogen. Okay, nitrate. Then some of the phenolic compounds. Okay, some of the phenolic compounds, so they are also very important. You can see the limits also here when it comes to the toxicity levels. When the toxicity level go on increasing, even you can see the value, it is very lesser. Okay, the limit is 0.001 milligram per liter. See, in all this, the column 3, you can see that whichever the values are very less, means they are very dangerous. Okay, just imagine that. For example, aluminium is there, 0.03. It's a very lesser than comparing with the calcium. See the calcium and aluminium, you can see the value here. Aluminium is having the 0.03, and the calcium is having 75. Both are having the unit of milligram per liter only. It is also in milligram per liter, and it is also in milligram per liter. But see the unit here, aluminium is 0.03, and calcium is 75. Means it is not that much harmful. If the calcium is there, it is good for our health. Okay, the bones and everything. Okay, it requires more calcium. Okay, if bone problem is there, if something problem is happening to related to the nervous systems or bone related or weakness, if you are feeling it, so normally the calcium tablets they will give. The doctors will say that, okay, the calcium tablets will be given. Okay, aluminum is required, but it is 0.03 milligram per liter, but calcium 75 milligram per liter. Okay, that you have to remember. Okay, so then again, copper is also very dangerous. You can see it is 0.05. The limit, if you see it, it is 0.05. So then, whichever, now overall you can see that in this standard, if the values are very less, okay, the requirement or acceptable limit is very less, means you assume that it is very dangerous. Okay, then that parameter has to be monitored regularly, okay, and intensively. Okay, it has to be monitored regularly as well as intensively. Okay, the mineral oil, so then nitrate, phenolic compounds, selenium. Okay, then silver, so we require our body, but it is 0.01. Okay, sulfur, that is sulfate, and SO4. Okay, as a sulfide, H2S. Okay, so normally the hydrogen sulfide, you will get it in normally in um, the sewer pipelines. Okay, this H2S gas is going to release in the sewer pipes. Okay, one more very important type of corrosion, that is ground corrosion, which is going to happen with related to this H2S only. We'll discuss that later. Okay, then total alkalinity. Okay, um, so whether if OH ions um, or whether it is carbonate ions, CO3 and OH are responsible for the total alkalinity, that we'll discuss later. Then total hardness, okay, whether it's soft water or hard water, okay, how much it should be there, hard water. So then for hard water, which are the ions are responsible? Okay, so for hardness, so calcium and magnesium uh, are responsible for carbonates and bicarbonates of calcium and magnesium are responsible for this total hardness. So then whenever you are measuring the total hardness, even you have to measure the calcium and you have to measure the magnesium also. Okay, and carbonates and bicarbonates. So carbonates represents, it is carbonates represents, it is carbonate represents, it will be, it will be CO3. Bicarbonates represents, it is HCO3. Okay, then zinc is also very important for our body. Okay, then cadmium cyanide. So even you can see the cyanide. Okay, he has given the limit of 0.05 milligram per liter. Okay, too much of course, now one more code is coming, maybe in 2000, it has already come in 2017, but it is not that much um, good. So now one more code is coming there, all the things they have removing, even they are making this as 0. Okay, nothing should be there, cyanide concentration should not be there, so that's it. Okay, then cyanide as a CN, very important. It is not that cyanide what we are talking about. It is a cyanide as a CN. This is very important. And always remember that, um, for example, sulfate you are talking about, it is in the form of SO4. Okay, it is not only the sulfur. Yes. Okay, remember that. Then the bracket, this is very important. Okay, lead as only lead only. It is not in the terms of oxide like PbO2, so that type of things it will not be there. Okay, then mercury, so then molybdenum, nickel, uh, nickel. After that we can see the pesticides. Okay, so for pesticides he has mentioned in the table 5. Okay, and there is no relaxation in the permissible limit. Okay, so then that we'll discuss. So pesticides related that because nowadays we are getting many traces of the pesticides in water. Okay, then polynuclear aromatic hydrocarbons, then total arsenic, total chromium, so trihalomethanes. Okay, so these are all comes under some of the chemical characteristics, and even some of the radioactive substances also you can see. Okay, alpha and beta entities, some of the uranium related. Uranium is a nuclear radioactive substance. The radium is also a nuclear radioactive substance. Okay, even they are that are also listed in the this IS code. That will also comes under the chemical characteristics only. But especially if they are going to categorize, they are considered as some of the heavy metals. Okay, then see these are all the pesticides what we are talking about, and how exactly they are going to determine. Okay, see these are some of the main uh, pesticides you can observe in the water. Okay, so alachar, atrazine, um, and these are all herbicides. You can see atrazine is also herbicide. Herbicide means it is a one type of a chemical used to kill the weeds, that is unwanted plants, to kill the unwanted plants which are present in the farm fields. Okay, then aldrin, alpha, beta. So these are 2,4-D, 2,4-dichlorophenoxyacetic acid. So it is also nothing but the herbicide. 2,4-D is also an herbicide. So which is used to kill the um, unwanted plants that are present in the um, the farm fields, or if in gardens, if you want to remove the unwanted plants, so directly you can spray it. Okay, then endosulfan, you already know that um, it is also used to as a insecticides. Okay, to kill the insects. Okay, so then ethium. So that history I'll tell later how exactly this the Kerala has um, um, faced a lot of problems associated with the endosulfan. Um, there also you have different forms of um, that is alpha, beta, and sulfate related endosulfan is there. How exactly it is affected? Okay, and you can see the codes here. Here you can find that is whatever the code we have discussed, that is IS 3025. Okay, here almost all the codes are by US EPA. What is this US EPA stands for? So this is US EPA is United States Environmental Protection Agency. It stands for, okay, United States Environmental Protection Agency. Okay, this is a big agency. Normally, these peoples will give the guidelines to prepare the proper IS codes, and most of the protocols has been developed to determine many of the water quality parameters um, using uh, uh, using some of by citing some of the protocols by taking the help of many of the scientists. Okay, this is the first institute which is established related to any of the standards, related to any of the protocols. If any modifications or if any rules and regulations are, if they are making related to the environmental protection, definitely the major role will be there with this institute. Okay, then phorate, so then melathium, they are all comes under the pesticides. Okay, so then bacteriological parameters. So physical parameters we have listed and the chemical parameters we have listed. Okay, so the bacteriological water quality parameters, especially so E. coli is one a bacteria which is responsible for, see here you can see the E. coli is one bacteria which is definitely going to harm to our human body. This E. coli is present in our human faces. Okay, it present in the human faces. Okay, suppose if you do not protect it or if you do not kill it, definitely it will enter to an water body. Suppose if it enters to an water body, or if you drink it, suddenly the dysentery will start. If the dysentery is starting, means it is the E. coli is responsible for that. Okay, E. coli is very dangerous also. Okay, how exactly we are going to determine this E. coli? So E. coli we are going to determine in terms of MPN. Okay, that is most probable number. Okay, that most probable number that will say that how many pathogens are there. Suppose if I am getting in water quality standards, okay, in water quality standards, so MPN should be 0. So if you are saying it is a MPN, okay, or E. coli, it should not present, that's it. Okay, it should not be detected. You can see that it shall not be detectable in any of the 100 ml of sample. Okay, it should not be detectable. Then how we are going to conduct it equally, or any of the pathogenic bacteria or pathogenic organisms which are present in the water, how we are going to detect it? So with the help of the MPN test we are going to detect it. Suppose if it is MPN is 0, okay, then it can be, the water can be drinked. So if MPN is uh, 4 or 5 or 6, so you are not supposed to drink that water because it contains of pathogens. Okay, then biological characteristics. First one, that is E. coli. Okay, and some of the total coliform bacteria. Okay, so we'll discuss that in detail whenever we take up each and every parameters separately. Okay, but now overall you can understand that. Overall you can understand that. So um, pathogens, the microbiological parameters that includes the E. coli, that is the MPN, then total coliforms, even some of the viruses and some of the funguses what we are talking about these days. Okay, so they are all comes under this bacteriological water quality parameters. Okay, so this is overall about the IS code. In this IS code, how they have listed all these water quality parameters. Okay, how they have listed all these water quality matter: physical characteristics, chemical characteristics, and biological characteristics. Okay, so maybe in the um, um, next class we will go ahead with the uh, physical parameters. We already covered it. We'll go ahead with some of the very important, not all chemical characteristics, very important chemical characteristics. We'll select it, and how we are going to how what is the importance of those chemical characteristics, and how we are going to measure it in our laboratory. Okay, what is the significance of that with related to the drinking water? Okay, there are all the things we will discuss in detail, and the next, maybe in next 2 to 3 classes we'll try to complete these water quality parameters. Then we will go ahead with the once it is over, so then we'll start with the remaining water treatment processes. Okay, we already covered some of the water treatment processes such as area screening, aeration we covered. So we covered with the aeration, we covered the screens, so we covered the sedimentation, we covered with the coagulation process. Okay, so remaining the filtration process, the disinfection process, and that is one more advanced water treatment processes. We will cover it in the further classes. Okay, so go ahead with this code. Okay, definitely it is going to help not only for this year. Okay, in most of the competitive exams, um, especially uh, those who are preparing for the UPSC examinations and all those things, 1 or 2 questions will be related to this course. Okay,